This is video 3 in a 15-part series on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and today we're diving into Chapter 3. Faith. Faith. The word itself carries weight, doesn't it? For some, it feels spiritual. For others, it brings memories of hope during tough times. But in the way Napoleon Hill uses it, faith is more than belief in something higher. It is the essential ingredient that turns thoughts into reality, dreams into plans, and plans into a life transformed. And if you're over 40, navigating financial struggles, rebuilding after setbacks, or simply craving a fresh start, what Hill teaches here could be the spark that reignites your journey. Because let's be honest, by the time you reach midlife, life has taught you a few things. Maybe you've been through job losses, business failures, debts that kept you awake at night, or relationships that didn't survive the storms. You've seen what it feels like to start over when you thought you were too old to do it again. And somewhere along the way, perhaps you began to dream smaller, to play safer, to expect less of life, and maybe even of yourself. But what if the second half of your life could be completely different? What if the best years, the most prosperous years, the most fulfilling years are still ahead of you? Hill says faith is the key to making that happen. Not blind faith, not passive faith, but a deliberate, intentional, unshakable confidence that what you desire can and will come to pass when you refuse to let doubt win. He explains that faith is a state of mind, and like any state of mind, it can be created through practice, repetition, and choice. In other words, faith is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build, thought by thought, word by word, day by day, until it becomes the dominant force inside you. And here's the powerful part. Once faith takes root in your mind, it works like a magnet. It draws opportunities, resources, and people toward you. It changes the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you handle obstacles. It keeps you moving when others quit. Now, let's connect this to money, because many people over 40 carry heavy financial burdens. Maybe you've spent decades working hard yet feel like you have little to show for it. Maybe you've tried businesses or investments that failed. Maybe debt has followed you like a shadow, whispering that things will never change. Faith says otherwise. Faith says your current situation is not your final destination. Faith says the setbacks were lessons, not life sentences. Faith says if you can see it in your mind, speak it with conviction, and back it with action, you can rebuild, recover, and rise higher than before. But here's the catch. Faith doesn't grow automatically. Our minds are like fertile soil. Whatever we plant will grow. If you keep planting fear, worry, and self-doubt, guess what will fill your life? More fear, more worry, more reasons to doubt yourself. But if you plant faith, deliberately, consistently, you start attracting ideas, solutions, and energy that align with the life you want to create. So how do you plant faith? Hill gives us a simple but powerful method: autosuggestion. That means speaking to yourself out loud every single day about the life you intend to create until your subconscious mind believes it as truth. At first, it feels strange. You might even feel silly saying things like, "I am capable of building wealth," or "I deserve financial freedom," when your bank account says otherwise. But repetition matters. The words you speak shape the beliefs you hold, and the beliefs you hold shape the actions you take. Think about it. If deep down you believe you'll always struggle financially, will you take bold steps to change your situation? Probably not. You'll play small. You'll hesitate. You'll find reasons to stay stuck. But if you believe, with absolute certainty, that financial freedom is possible for you, even if you don't yet know how, your mind begins to look for ways to make it happen. You see opportunities others miss. You try again after failing. You learn new skills. You make different decisions. Faith changes everything because it changes you first. Now, let's talk about doubt, because it's the enemy of faith. After 40, doubt often grows louder. You've seen plans fall apart. You've had doors close. Maybe you've started over more times than you can count. So when a new idea comes, doubt whispers, "Why bother? It probably won't work." But here's the truth. The past does not equal the future unless you live there. Faith refuses to live there. Faith says, "Yes, I've fallen before, but I can rise again." Faith says, "Yes, I've made mistakes, but I've learned what to do differently next time." Faith says, "I am not too old, and it is not too late." Some of the most successful people in history were broke at 40, unknown at 50, and world changers by 60 or 70. They didn't let age or failure or time convince them to quit. They built faith like a muscle until it became stronger than the doubt around them, and you can do the same. So, how do you actually use faith to change your financial life? Start by feeding your mind every day with words and images of what you want, not what you fear. Read books, listen to audios, write affirmations, surround yourself with people who speak possibility instead of limitation. Second, act as if what you want is already on its way. If you truly believed your financial breakthrough was coming, how would you prepare? What skills would you learn? What opportunities would you explore? What habits would you change? Third, refuse to speak against yourself. Stop saying things like, "I'm terrible with money," or "I'll never get out of debt." Your mind believes what you tell it most often, so tell it something new, something empowering, something aligned with the life you want to create. And finally, be persistent. Faith doesn't eliminate obstacles. It gives you the strength to overcome them. You will still face challenges, but instead of seeing them as signs to quit, you'll see them as stepping stones, proof that you're on the path, that you're growing, that you're closer than you were yesterday. I remember hearing someone say, "Faith isn't believing everything will be easy. Faith is believing it will be worth it." And that's exactly what Hill teaches. He even warns about the danger of negative thinking. If faith attracts success, fear attracts failure. If faith opens doors, fear slams them shut. So every day you must choose. Will I feed faith or will I feed fear? After 40, that choice becomes even more important because time is precious. You can't afford to keep replaying old mistakes in your mind like a broken record. You can't afford to keep speaking defeat over your life. You need faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your future, faith that the second half of your life can be the best half if you decide it will be. Imagine what would change if you started each day saying, out loud, "I am capable of creating wealth. I am worthy of financial freedom. I take action toward my goals every day. My future is brighter than my past." At first, it's just words, but say it enough times, with enough feeling, and something shifts inside you. You begin to believe it, and when you believe it, you act like it. And when you act like it, your life begins to reflect it. That's the power of faith. So as you think about your financial goals, paying off debt, saving for retirement, starting a business, leaving a legacy, remember this: the plan matters, the strategy matters, but faith is the foundation that makes it all possible. Without faith, you'll quit the first time it gets hard. With faith, you'll keep going until the goal becomes reality. Because faith doesn't just change what's possible, it changes you, and that changes everything. So starting today, choose words that build faith. Take actions that align with faith. Surround yourself with voices that strengthen faith, and refuse to let fear have the final word. The second half of your life can be the most abundant, the most fulfilling, the most impactful chapter yet. But it starts in your mind. It starts with faith. If this content resonated with you, take the next step. Check out the link I left below in the comments. And if this message helped you, give it a like, share it, leave your comment, and don't forget to subscribe with the bell on.